Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Hello, is
Hey,
Mr. Craig there?
yeah, this is Mr. Craig. Hello,
Hello,
Mr.
Mr.
Jason.
Craig.
Oh, hello, Mr. Jason.
I don't have my coffee, but it's time for coffee talk.
Little coffee
Yeah.
and a thermos
Water
talk.
talk?
Water
Yeah,
talk.
water cooler talk. Even though we're not at the water cooler.
No, I just installed a water cooler here at the house.
Well, there you go. So you're really setting it up like an office over there.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh.
we've been here so long. Now it's getting hot. I'm in my little office here that the AC doesn't work as good as I would prefer.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, hot. Hot like coffee.
So there's a lot going on, but something came to mind the other day that I thought would be a good conversation starter.
Mm.
You know,
What's
you
that,
want to know?
Mr. Jason?
Compliance.
Oh, that's the best.
It's the best. But it brought me up to a point that I was thinking about, and it's a point of cheating to win. You ever heard that phrase? You got to cheat to win.
Cheating to win.
Yeah.
Like Belichick with his camera in the stands.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly. And it's crazy because how many times do people cut corners on stuff here and there before you know it, you're completely out of compliance with whatever insurance carrier you're selling, hawking their products.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's so easy to be out of that, and it's so easy to cheat to win in general when you're in sales. Like it's easy to start being unethical to get the sale because the sale's so fun and exciting and it becomes a competition almost. But
There's different levels though too, right? Aren't there different levels? You said unethical. I think that's maybe there's cutting corners, then there's cheating, then there's unethical, and then there's illegal, right?
Yes.
Maybe there's different levels, but I think once you start crossing lines and those lines start blurring, it's what they call a slippery slope.
Right.
Very slippery with grease.
Ooh. I've just slide right down that, and I don't want to slide right down that, Mr. Craig.
No, because then you likely aren't going to be representing and hawking those products that you are.
Truth. And even in sales, like with I don't know, you're talking to somebody and you're kind of not telling them stuff that might be on their policy that they wouldn't like, or I don't know, you know how it is. You can I mean, I started thinking about it because I heard some stories of some dudes, and I think that the genius is in the white area. Like if you can stay in that area and hold true to your values and you hold yourself to some high standards and some high values, I think you can stay 100% compliant, ethical, and still crush it.
I agree 100%. And some of it's simple, right? Some of it is getting your UIM paperwork back, right? Simple compliance stuff.
Yes.
And then there's other stuff that's making sure they sign the app, right?
Right.
Having these things on hand. All sorts of different things, from the little menial stuff. But I think once you start saying, that's not important, or worse, having somebody signing those things, right? That's now you're in illegal territory.
Right. And even if you're not in illegal territory, like let's just say you as the agency owner or agent, you start letting some stuff slide, and you start telling your peeps, hey, don't worry about it. No
big deal.
Yeah, things are no big deal. then they'll take it 10 steps further. They always will.
Always.
So
I don't like
that's
to use
why,
always and never, but always.
yeah, that's always. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to sleep at night well, like just freaking stay in the white and crush it. I mean, you still will crush it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it boils down to a numbers game, right? If you can make enough activity happen, you're going to get enough quotes. If you can get enough quotes, you're going to close enough business. Even if you are the world's worst closer, all you have to do is increase your activity.
Yep.
But if you train them to sell well, then even the world's worst closer is going to be able to close some more business and be able to sit on these beaches like us.
Yes. And there's no one at the beaches, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice to be here solo. On your view, does it have the two trees in the middle going like that?
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to just hold ourselves to a high standard in general. Whether it be like, no matter what you do, always hold yourself to a high standard.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody else that I know that there's some agents that's had a hard time during this. I know some agents that are either crushing during this time or having a hard time. And I think that the agents that have always tried to push themselves and be the best version of themselves that they can be, and their agencies to be as great as they can be, they're not struggling right now. It's if anything, some are thriving. So it's just always holding yourself to a higher standard will always net a better result.
Well, yeah, not difficult. You get back to the basics, stick to the fundamentals, right?
Yep.
And for the motif of compliance, a lot of us started off as salespeople, right? Salespeople, maybe even restaurant background. I mean, both you and I both had that restaurant bar background, and it's a goofy place where there is a lot of gray area and people push the limits and make stuff up. If you're at the table talking about the soup of the day or whatever, and that's fun. And then you bring that kind of attitude into sales, push the limit with how things are described possibly. That's what salespeople are typically going to push that envelope as far as they can. And if that's our background, it's easy to say, hey, you know what, it's okay. And we have to your point, and we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. So we have to distance ourselves from that sales team and that kind of thinking and help enforce the positive, proper way to do it. I mean, that's our job, right? We're grooming people to become agents.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully that's my outcome for them, is to become agents, right? Not to be producers forever. I mean, some of them maybe.
And being better produces better results. Like it exponentially adds on itself. Like you see the people that are some agents that are struggling, it's like they never expected that high of standards for themselves and their agencies and everything else, and it kind of bites them in the butt later on. And it's like, I think that we all need to go the extra mile. We need to stay compliant, but like just be the best version of yourself so that in hard times, it's not as hard. You know what I mean? I think it would be a lot harder to tell people that they're fired than it would be to just put in the extra time you need to, or figure out some other way to make it happen, or I don't know. But I think everybody should hold themselves to a higher standard.
I'd be curious to see how people have done over the last month, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are listening to this in the future, we're here. It's May of 2020, and a month ago was the lockdown started. So a lot of people are cutting back. A lot of people dialing back their spend and hoarding resources instead of pushing. And I think, both you and I made a decision to say, hey, look, let's go all in, because it's either all over and we're all screwed, or we come out of this thing and we're in a better position.
Right.
More likely, right? You come out of this thing and you're in a better position.
Yep.
And, I know that I had one of my best months for the month of April.
Same here.
And it was sticking to the fundamentals, pushing a little bit harder, continuing to coach, continuing to meet with the team. We did a remote, but how great of a time is it that we're in 2020 when we can do this? My wife and I went for a ride this morning. On the way back, we were, people had the masks on, and I was commenting about it. And I thought, can you imagine if this was 1980 right now when this happened? 1980, where there is no internet, there is no way to communicate, there is no cell phones. And what would happen? What would have happened to the world economy?
Well, they wouldn't shut it down.
Right. You either wouldn't have shut it down, or if they did, it's done.
Totally.
Right? Done.
Right.
There's no remote working. We in essence, and I think maybe there was an increase in productivity because now there isn't as much distraction.
Right. I agree.
Totally
We're never going to go.
Compliance.
Totally off. But I know our agency's never going back to exactly the way it was done before.
You're never opening your doors again?
Well, we're never going to work,
Mr. Jason,
full time in an office chair. Never.
And you know what? We've now tacked on an additional skill set. The ones that have leaned into this, and I think now likely everyone has. If you can hire, if you can fire, if you can hold people accountable, if you can still coach, if you can do all of these things under these circumstances over Zoom or whatever other crazy thing you may be using, I mean, you can continue to do it. Yeah. And what does that open up? That opens up your entire state, maybe the entire country, to hire from.
Right. Which we've gotten into a couple coffee talks ago.
That was a coffee talk.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody that listens to this ever says coffee talk?
I don't know.
And as they log into their iTunes and they're typing a 5-star review, do you think they say coffee talk? As they log in there and they scroll to the bottom of all the episodes, right to the bottom where you can type in a review, do you think they say coffee talk?
How good were those old episodes of Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond? And if you don't know what that is, type it in.
Talk about dogs, daughters.
Coffee.
It's coffee talk. Yeah. Was that John Lovitz? Can't remember who's coffee talk. John Lovitz or Phil Hartman or is that crew?
No, it was Mike Myers.
Oh, it was Myers. You're right. Yeah.
Austin Powers. Go watch it. So good.
So good. International Man of Mystery. Well, we are done. We're done. The full circle all the way over to Austin Powers. We will talk to you next week.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out The Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.